Good morning, everyone. I am Trey from the First Date Fix. Today, I'm going to be doing something different, something that I hope translates week after week. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking about terrible information, various Instagram posts that are basically what I feel giving misleading information, and they're really not helping anything, right? One of the whole reasons why I decided to do this page is because I didn't want it to be men against women, women against men. I didn't want it to be a situation where you have to trash someone or trash a particular sex in order to get your point across. I didn't want it to be a page where you are absolving yourself of some wrongdoings or mistakes that perhaps you have done. I didn't want it to be a page that didn't allow you to do any self-reflection. And every now and then I scroll and I see some advice given by a dating or meme page that they say it's a joke, or some say it's a joke, but I really don't think it's funny. There are some people, unfortunately, that cannot read between the lines and they think that that is exactly what it is. So I'm and trash any bad information. Now what I've done is, because I'm recording this on my phone, I don't have any high production. I always record off my phone. But because I am recording this off my phone, I have my trusty iPad here with information about the trash quotes that people keep posting. Now, the first quote is this: if you're nice to every guy, you're nice to no guy. Perhaps you can correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe I'm misinterpreting it. But to me, it basically seems like you have to be specifically overly nice to one specific person so that they know that that's your person. But I have believed in the longest time that you should never be a respecter of persons. And what I mean by that is you should treat every single person the same. Now, when I say that, if there's a man that comes to you in the street and says good morning, you know, you either wave or you smile, or you say good morning back, right? But you're not gonna approach him or say hello the same way you would your boyfriend, right? You're not going to turn to him and say, oh, hi baby, how was your day? He's going to be like, I was just saying good morning, right? So these kind of quotes, if you're nice to every guy, you're nice to no guy, is kind of misleading in the sense that you're going to get a lot of people that read this quote and think, well, I should only be nice to the guy that I'm interested in. And that's just not the reality. Now, if I've gotten this wrong, please feel free to correct me. Quote number 2, this one. There will be someone that comes along one day and offers you an entire galaxy when you only expected a single planet. So this goes back to the whole paradigm of, before you try and get into a healthy monogamous relationship or dating scenario with anyone, you should have your own galaxy. You should have your own planets. You shouldn't expect anyone to give you anything. If I go into a relationship with a woman, I never expect one day, I hope you give me the planets and a galaxy. Because I've created most of this stuff myself, which I hope, if we are the progressive and, you know, equality driven world that we claim to be, that there is no man or woman who expecting anyone to give them the galaxy. Now, when you two come together, you're going to be building your own planets and your own galaxy. There isn't a single person in the relationship that is going to be offering anyone a galaxy or a planet, because what that does is that immediately puts one person down here and that person up here. And eventually the person who is giving that person that galaxy might slightly resent them when they realize, well, if I'm giving them a galaxy and a planet, what the hell am I getting out of this? Okay? Remember, you're never always going to have a 100% equal relationship, but you want to be as close as you possibly can get. Quote number 3, someone said, you keep forgiving someone until you unlove them. I felt that. And this is just trash, because and I've said this before, the strongest relationships, the strongest marriages that you know of have gone through the deepest and hardest, the gut-wrenching pains of forgiveness to get to where they've gotten today. The more you forgive someone, it doesn't mean you drive further away from them. That doesn't mean that you've truly forgiven them. If you've truly forgiven them And if you two have worked through the problem together, one, you have a better way of how you're going to handle that issue in the future. Two, you grow in love with that person even more because they had clairvoyance enough to apologize and be very specific about the things that they were going to fix. And three, this is just, another thing that perhaps you two have to trip over together in order to get stronger. When you're working out, what happens is that your muscle tears. And the reason why it tears is because it needs to repair itself. And when it tears and repairs itself, it grows back bigger if you're doing the right kind of resistance. So when people turn around and say, someone said, you keep forgiving someone until you unlove them, I felt that. This is why so many of you are single. Because you think to yourself, I can't keep having these arguments and falling out of love with them. Like, that's not how it works. I don't even know how most millennials are in relationships right now, because apparently if you have one argument, that's it. You're done. And then you seem to think that when you go to the next relationship, it's going to be so much more different, because it shouldn't be this hard. Okay, this one. Stop complaining about your life. There are people out there dating your ex. And I get it, okay? You're mad at your ex. They're a terrible person, they're a terrible individual. Ha ha ha, someone else is dating them and I'm not. But I always laugh at quotes like this, because I always think, okay, well, you think they're not saying the same thing about you? Like, even if one person breaks up with someone, both people kind of have an idea that the relationship is ending. And I always laugh when people like to joke about how terrible their ex is and how I feel sorry for the next person that has to date them, because in reality, what you saw as trash, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? So when people say quotes like this, number one, I think it's petty. Number two, I think it's childish. And if you've truly moved on, right, there's women that I've dated that initially when it ended, I hated their guts. But then I'm like, I hope they find someone happy. When we were together, for the most part, it was great. We just couldn't work through certain things. Stop running after little boys. Men don't have to be chased. So, first of all, I kind of appreciate where you're coming from. A woman never wants to have to chase a man. A woman never wants to... Okay, hold on. Not a woman. Some women never have to chase a man. Some women prefer the men to chase them. And I'm going to make a video about this on Friday, so stay tuned. But men aren't chasing anymore because we don't have to, the same way you don't have to chase. The playing fields of dating and relationships have never ever been closer. So when I hear statements like, stop running after little boys, what's wrong with a woman going after what she wants? Do we truly not believe into all the information that we're spewing out there? Do we not believe that women are empowered, independent, strong, embracing their feminine? If that's the case, what's wrong with a woman pursuing a man and vice versa? Okay? There are billions of women out there who are single because of that one guy they like that they never really pursued. It's bonkers to me. I actually wonder how many relationships would be in fruition right now if we didn't have the mentality of, it is the man's role to chase and only the man. The woman should be the one who is chased. Men, absolutely, we like to pursue, but we're not chasing people either anymore. So if you're not chasing and we're not chasing, what's happening? I'll tell you, 2020. So what my point being is that everyone has to be chased to some degree. Okay, because eventually the person who's chasing is going to give up the chase, and guess what's going to happen to that other person that is so craving that validation? They're going to be the ones chasing too. Everyone chases, man. Get over it. Get over yourself. Okay, you ain't all that. I'll say it again for those in the back. You are not all that, and neither am I. Before you start jumping into my DMs, here's another one. When you get what you want, that's God's direction. When you don't get what you want, that's God's protection. Okay, I'm a religious man myself. Definitely believe that there is a man up there, or a woman, or whatever entity you think it is. We have to stop using God as an excuse for things that we could have done. We have to stop using God as an excuse because we're a bit lazy and we don't want to work for things too hard, okay? I always feel a bit uncomfortable when they start referring to God, relationships, and dating, because what that does is that absolves the man and the woman of any real action as to what they should be doing to find that special person. Now again, If I'm wrong, which, 7 times out of 10 I usually am, if not more, hit me up in the comment section, let me know, but that's just my opinion. Here's another one. You deserve someone who's really into you and shows it. Yes, you do deserve someone that's really into you and shows it. But guess what? So does the other person. This is what's nuts about these quotes. They're always so one-sided. And that poor person's going to read this thinking, well, I deserve someone who's really into me and shows it, but I don't have to. It works both ways, baby. It works both ways. I have one more. This one's from OkCupid. I'm calling them out because I felt like it was trash advice. I'm sorry. Look. So it says, old you, do they like me? New you, do they deserve me? I hate the mentality of they don't deserve me. Like, that whole mentality reeks of the deepest degree of entitlement. And I just think it's so uncute. Like, when you start talking about people deserving you, that puts you in a place of entitlement, and that puts you in a place where you generally think you're better than them, and that puts you in a place where you rate yourself highly. And in reality, unless you're perfect, you don't get to turn around and say to someone, they don't deserve me, right? Like, that mentality is just trash to me. I'm not saying that everyone is entitled to everyone and everyone deserves everyone, but there's just a different way that you can go about explaining that, right? It just kind of reeks of arrogance. And I have to edit this. So basically, when it comes to quotes, just be careful of what you're reading out there. Be very self-reflective. And remember, if I haven't already told you this, you have to work on yourself before you start flashing your stuff around there. It's okay to chase, and this isn't men against women and women against men. Enjoy the rest of your morning.